Hey everyone, John Childers back with another video from Simi Valley Paranormal. Um, I was going to kind of delve off into some other realms like UFOs this week, but something came up the other night. We were talking during an investigation and we brought up shadow people. And I was trying to describe it to somebody, and it's really hard to describe it if you've never seen it. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, shadow people. What are they exactly? So the definition of a shadow person is a supernatural, shadow-like humanoid figure that, according to believers, are seen flickering on walls and ceilings in the viewer's peripheral vision. The descriptions of shadowy, human-like figures have appeared in folklore and religious texts throughout the history and cultures. Some examples include the supernatural creatures known as jinn of ancient Islamic theology and the shadow beings known as Nazlu Chito of the Native American Choctaw tribes mythology. The modernly used term of shadow people was apparently coined by paranormal researcher and book author Heidi Hollis. Now, some reports of them are as menacing, scary, creepy, harboring evil intent. Some people feel they're there. They're the true form of a ghost. Some claim that there are time travelers and are interdimensional beings on a visit to our current time and place. Many have also concluded that these flickers of darkness are on a mission to watch over and guide us along life's path. However, those taking a different slant towards shadow people are a result of psychological and physiological conditions such as, sleep deprivation or paralysis, illusions, hallucinations, and beginnings of dementia, drug or alcohol use, or other side effects of medicine. They're claimed to be viewed as unrecognizable fleeting shadows out of the corner of the observer's eyes for just a few seconds. They're the most reported type of ghost sighting. Shadow people are a bit of an enigma in the paranormal community. They're often thought of as ghosts or a collection of negative energy, but as is true with most paranormal phenomena, there is no finite answer. So, Jason Offutt, the author of Darkness Walks, The Shadow People Among Us, commented that many shadow people encounters do seem to mirror ghost encounters and are the most common type of shadow person encounters. A blacker-than-night, human-shaped shadow that people see walking through their bedroom, hallways, living rooms, etc. These shadow people are most benign, usually not taking notice of those who observe them. So these shadowy, human-like entities have a bit of a murky reputation, as most people who report seeing them state that they feel uncomfortable, scared, and in some extreme cases, even paralyzed with fear. Okay, my encounter with the shadow people was exactly as it was described, darker than the night. We were on a paranormal investigation up at a very isolated site up in the mountains. It was an old homestead. There was a field area to the back, had a lot of farm equipment along the edge of it, and we were sitting there watching it. There'd been rumors of Indian spirits coming out from that field and walking across the homestead. So anyway, we were standing there, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something run out across the field. And I said, "Oh, I just saw something." And the other two people I was with agreed they had seen something too. It was literally pitch black, but we could still see something, and that black was darker than the black. I don't know how to describe it any better than that. And it kind of continued happening the whole time we were there. It was nothing we could catch on film. It was nothing we could catch on camera. They dart across, and that was it. My first encounter with the shadow person was on the Queen Mary. Um, we were walking along. We were down in the engine room, I believe, and the tour guide was talking, and I was just kind of standing to the back of the group, and I saw something out of the corner of my eye. So I just kind of walked over to this railing and was looking over and shining a flashlight over in this general area. And this gentleman came up and stood beside me, and he didn't say a word. He was kind of looking around, and so I looked at him. I said, "So you saw that too?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, ran right across that walkway over there." And I said, "Yeah, that's what I saw." So, and then the next, well, I've had several encounters, I guess. So after one investigation, I was probably followed home, which is a bad practice to get into, and we'll talk about that some other time. But for weeks after the investigation, I'd be turning my head and looking around, and again, the best I could describe this wasn't as dark. This was like in my house, and it was like when a fly flies past you and then you can't see it, kind of thing. And my wife would keep going, "What are you looking at?" And I said, I don't know. It was always right here, just where I could barely see it, and go by. One of the last straws was I went to go into the bathroom to take a shower, and there was a face in the shower window, and it was just there briefly. And our shower window's up about 7 feet, maybe a little lower than that, but low enough that somebody's face could not be in it. In the shower, it comes up to about here on me. And so, that's how I look at it out of it. But this face was like in the center of it. So whoever it was would have had to been, I'm 6 feet, 5'11", give or take. So this person would have had to been 6'6", something like that. I didn't go rushing outside because it was like there and then it wasn't. It wasn't like it moved. It just, there was a face and then there wasn't. So anyway, I checked with some people and asked some questions, and they said, it'll probably go away in a few days. It just, or maybe a month, whatever it take, and it did. It kind of stopped happening. So the idea is that the more receptive you are to the belief in the spirits, the more they will attach themselves to you, because sometimes they want to be seen. And so anyway, those were my experiences with the shadow people. And since we're on that topic, we're going to switch over a little bit to the Hat Man. The Hat Man is described as a shadow figure, but different. And so we'll talk a little bit about that right now. Okay, so the Hat Man. So people describe the Hat Man this way. It appears with male-defined characteristics, a completely dark entity, wears a fedora or a wide-brimmed hat, appears to be wearing some kind of coat, sometimes described as a trench coat. Some accounts say that he has red eyes. His face is obscured, but you can make out the general outline of him, and he's about 6 feet tall. So a lot of people say that they will see him, and he just watches them. And so they get a very creepy feeling of it. And some say when they see him, they can't move. He's usually up in the corner of the room or something like that. So exactly what is the Hat Man? Some say he's an interdimensional being, as we said about the shadow people, a demon, or even the devil himself. A favorite theory is that the Hat Man is a product of astral projection. Now, astral projection is the esoteric idea that you can use mental techniques to initiate an out-of-body experience and interact with the world using your non-physical form. Perhaps there are people, just sickies who do so and appear as the Hat Man to terrorize others without the risk of being caught. So basically the idea is you want to bully somebody and you can't do it during the day, you astral project into their bedroom at night and scare the bejeebers out of them. So luckily for most who meet him, the Hat Man doesn't seem intent on inflicting physical harm. What he's after is slower, more insidious. He just watches the sleeper, sometimes arcing his overlong body over their bed. It's said that even though he doesn't touch his victims, they can feel evil emanating from him in waves. They can feel that he wants to do them harm. The theory is that he uses a look, don't touch approach for a calculated reason, as it creates a heady brew of confusion, anticipation, and fear in his subject that he can then feed off of. This may be the main purpose of the Hat Man's visit. The bedroom of his victims are his demonic charging stations. When he's not hovering over the sleeper, he employs two other common methods of viewing his prey: looking at the sleeper through a mirror or sitting and watching them from the corner. Now, when I say sitting and watching them from the corner, some say that he is in the corner of the room. Others say he's in the upper corner of the room, up by the ceiling. I've heard that description a lot. So while the Hat Man, if you read on the Hat Man and you read the descriptions of the shadow people, it's almost the same thing. The difference is he's a little differently defined. Most shadow people you can't make out; you just see kind of a black blob. But with the Hat Man, he's more defined, and of course thus the name. UFOlogists think that perhaps he's an alien, and that he's just there to observe and watch, and that's where the sleeping paralysis comes from and whatnot. They freeze you so they can just observe you in the night, and then they just simply disappear. So again, I've never had an experience with a Hat Man. I think our youngest granddaughter talks about the black man who lives in her closet. I have not investigated that yet. One of the reasons is I don't. If it's a demonic force, I don't do that. I don't study it. I don't delve into it, and I don't try to interact with it at all. It's a bad thing, and people I know that have done it and were very good at it report that it's a bad thing. They've had issues and problems. So I'm kind of waiting to find the right person to come over and help with her issue. But you hear that from a lot of children, that it lives in the closet. It comes out at night while they're sleeping, but they wake up and they can see it, but they can't move. They can't call out for mom and dad. They're paralyzed. And that's why the psychologists and stuff believe it's just a form of sleep paralysis, and you're just hallucinating the whole thing. While that is possible and could be very likely, on the other hand, if it's something that scares your child and your child just can't function, can't sleep in their room at night, doesn't want to sleep in their room at night, you have different issues, and those are things that need to be taken care of. And like I said, I'll work on my granddaughter. She doesn't make a big deal about it, but she speaks of it from time to time. Our granddaughter is very interesting, as she told my wife one day that she's a teacher, and that she was one of my daughter's teachers. And so she's going to be an interesting case study, and I would like to do that before she gets too old and starts losing some of that belief, as we know that young children tend to believe way more so and are more interactive with the spirits than adults, because once we become adults, we're told that that's stupid and you shouldn't believe in it, and so we don't. Then there's those of us that grow up or don't grow up. I told my mom I wanted to grow up and be a ghost hunter, and she says, you have to make up your mind. You can't do both. So here I am. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Hit the notify button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Share it with our friends. And again, I am sharing this on my Paranormal Facebook page as well as on YouTube. If you like it, please like it on the YouTube channel, as the more you like it on there, the better the algorithm. The better the algorithm, the more this channel will get out, and hopefully it'll grow, and we can do some bigger and better things. One of the things I would like to do is get somebody else on here and discuss with them their beliefs and talk to some guests and whatnot. So anyway, You guys all have a great Halloween, which is Sunday, and take it easy, be safe, and we'll see you next week.